This video will show you how you can use the new drop-down menu feature within Google Docs. This feature can be used for things like a question answer set of activities. For example, if you have a question, instead of having the students just type in the answer, you can give them a drop-down menu from which they can pick the correct answer. Another way of using this is if you have a fill in the blanks set that you need to do with a paragraph, instead of just giving them lines to fill in the blanks, you can give them the same kind of drop down menu where they can drop down and choose the correct word that goes in that particular space. So in this sentence, they can pick the answer and keep going and pick the correct answers for each one of these words that need to get filled in. Another way of using this is if you have a rubric with different points, when you're grading them on the rubric, for each of the features that you have in a rubric, you can use a drop-down and tell them what kind of score they got for the assignment. One of the advantages also of creating a rubric like this with a drop-down is once you have used the drop-down to give them the grade or the score, you can use the commenting feature within Google Doc to tell the student why you gave them this particular score. Another way also of using this is using it as a progress status. So if you are doing some kind of blended learning or station rotations and you have different stations and an assessment in the end, you can create a table like this with a list of all your students. And as the students progress through those stations, they can tell you if they have started working on it and they are in progress, or if they need help, or if they are working on the station, and then they can work their way through. And if they're doing the assessment, they can also tell you if they need help, or if they're in progress, or if they have completed an assessment or something. So these are some of the few ways you can use a drop-down menu in a Google Doc. To create the drop-down menu, you go under Insert, click on Drop-down, and you do receive two preset drop-downs, one for project status and for review status. These two can be edited to fit your needs. The project status is the one I used up here to create my table, but you can also create your own drop-down menu. To do that, you click on New Drop-down. You give the drop-down a name, and then you have the different options. Option 1 will always be the default option that shows up in the beginning. So if you would prefer none of the answers to show, but you just want to say something like choose from below, then that will be the first thing that shows up. And then you can put in your other choices in here. And you can also choose colors to designate each one of these answers. If you do not want to keep any one of these, you can click on the trash can to delete it. If you wanted to move the order up or down, you can use these drag button and move it up and down. And when you're done, you can click Save. If you need more options, you will be clicking on New Option. So once you click Save, this is your drop-down menu. If you want to add or edit, you can click down here. And the good thing about this is if you wanted to use this in multiple places, like I have up here, you can just click on it and copy it, and then put your cursor wherever you want your cursor to be and paste it. So you can use the same one over and over again. And once you have created your drop-down menu, when you go back down to Insert and Drop-down, you will notice that that is also now one of the choices that you have. Clicking the pencil next to it will let you edit that drop-down menu again. So this is how you can create your drop-down menu when you are working in Google Docs.